You think GLP-1 and peptides are alternatives? You're doing metabolic medicine all wrong. I'm Jay Patel, certified PA here at MyFitMed. Most people think you must choose weight loss or recovery, appetite control or anti-aging, GLP-1 or peptide. That mindset is the biggest mistake in the metabolic medicine. GLP-1 medication controls intake, insulin, and gut-brain signaling, while peptides controls recovery, tissue repair, and metabolic flexibility. Alone, they often fail. They both solve different biological problems, and when integrated correctly, they solve problems that neither can fix alone. This video is for education only. No dosing, no prescribing. So let's get into it. So here is how modern metabolic medicine actually works. GLP-1 medication like semaglutide works primarily at the level of appetite, insulin demand, and gut-brain signaling. Peptides work primarily at the level of recovery, growth hormone signaling, mitochondrial health, tissue repair, and metabolic flexibility. One controls intake and glucose handling, the other controls adaptation and regeneration. Fat loss requires both. Let's start with GLP-1 medications. GLP-1 is a naturally occurring incretin hormone released from the gut after eating. It signals the pancreas to release insulin appropriately, suppresses excessive glucagon, and slows gastric emptying, reduces postprandial meal glucose spike, and signals the brain that enough food has been consumed. Pharmacologically, GLP-1 receptor agonist amplifies this system. They reduce food noise, reduces pathologic hunger, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces calorie intake, and improves cardiometabolic risk. But GLP-1 medication do not increase growth hormone. They do not improve tissue repair. They do not protect lean muscle mass. They do not improve mitochondrial function directly. This is why some patients lose weight but feels weaker, more fatigued, and plateau after some time. Now, let's talk about peptides. Peptides are signaling molecules. They do not override physiology. They instruct it. Growth hormone-related peptides such as samorelin, CJC1295, and ipamorelin restores natural growth hormone pulsatility. Growth hormone increases fat mobilization, preserves muscle, improves sleep, enhances recovery, improves collagen, and support metabolic resilience. Metabolic peptides like mots-c improves insulin sensitivity at the cellular level and improves mitochondrial efficiency. Recovery peptides like BPC157 and TB500 supports tissue repair and injury recovery. Longevity peptides like GHKCU and SS31 improve cellular signaling, oxidative stress, and tissue quality. But peptides do not reliably reduces appetite. They do not directly control calorie intake. This is why peptide alone often fail in patients with significant insulin resistance or obesity, or people that are used to eating a lot of food. This brings us to the core concept. GLP-1 medication reduces incoming metabolic load. Peptide improves how the body adapts to the reduced load. If you reduce intake without improving recovery and metabolism, the body downshifts. If you improve recovery without controlling intake, fat loss stops. Integration is not optional. It's essential for the optimal results. One of the most common failure pattern is GLP-1 therapy without peptide or some type of anabolic support. Patients lose weight rapidly, appetite drops, calorie drops, but protein intake drops too. Resistant training decreases, lean muscle mass declines, and metabolism slows down. Eventually, weight loss plateaus and fatigue sets in. Weakness comes in. This is not a GLP-1 failure. This is a support failure. Another common failure pattern is peptide therapy without appetite control. Growth hormone improves fat mobilization. Recovery improves, sleep improves, but calorie intake remains high. Insulin remains elevated. Fat is mobilized but restored. Patient feels better but look the same. This is not a peptide failure. It's the metabolic mismatch. So integrating these two therapy solves both problems. GLP-1 therapy lowers insulin and reduces incoming calories. Growth hormone peptides preserve lean mass, improves recovery, and prevent metabolic slowdown. Metabolic peptides improves mitochondrial efficiency so fat can be burned instead of conserved. And the result is the body recomposition instead of simple weight loss on the scale. Let's talk about the body composition because this is where integration matters the most. Weight loss alone is not the goal. The goal is reducing fat mass while preserving or increasing lean muscle mass. GLP-1 therapy makes weight loss possible. Peptide makes weight loss sustainable. This is why patients who integrate this approach looks different even at the same scale weight. Another critical integration point is sleep. There is no replacement for sleep. GLP-1 medication often improves sleep indirectly by stabilizing glucose. Growth hormone peptides improve sleep directly by enhancing deep sleep and nocturnal growth hormone pulses. Sleep quality determines fat loss success. No amount of appetite control can overcome poor sleep. Integration fixes that. Recovery is another overlooked factor. Reduced calorie intake increase injury risk. Growth hormone and recovery peptide protects connective tissue, improves healing, and allows patient to continue resistant training. Without this, patient stops training. Without training, lean muscle is lost. Without lean muscle, fat loss slows down and your metabolism slows down. Insulin sensitivity is where integration becomes powerful. GLP-1 therapy reduces insulin demand. mots-c improves insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. Growth hormone improves fat mobilization. Together, insulin falls and fat loss become accessible. This is how insulin-resistant patient finally respond. There is also a physiological benefit to integration. GLP-1 therapy quiets food noises. Peptide improves energy, sleep, mood, and recovery. Patients feel better while losing weight. This increases adherence. Adherence determines long-term success because that's the other main problem people have is the initial boost for a long-term success. One concept worth addressing is lower exposure or precision approach. The goal is not maximal appetite suppression. The goal is metabolic correction with preserved physiology. In some patients, small intervention across multiple systems outperform aggressive intervention in one system. This is precision medicine, not intensity medicine. Integration doesn't mean stacking everything. It means identifying the limiting factor. Every patient is different. If appetite is the problem, GLP-1 therapy comes first. If recovery is the problem, peptide support is needed. If insulin resistance is severe or metabolic repair must be addressed. This is individualized care, not a cookie cutter. The future of metabolic medicine is not GLP-1 alone. It is not peptide alone. It is a system-based integration, appetite control, metabolic repair, anabolic preservation, mitochondrial efficiency, inflammation reduction. This is how obesity and metabolic diseases are actually treated. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. GLP-1 medication makes weight loss possible. Peptide makes weight loss sustainable. And sustainability is the difference between temporary success and permanent change. If this video helped you understand metabolic medicine at a deeper level, subscribe. If you are a provider, share this with colleagues who are still treating weight as a calorie problem. If you are a patient, share this with anyone who thinks GLP-1 are either magic or dangerous. And if you want real evidence-based education on hormones, peptides, and metabolic health, stay here and I'll see you in the next video.